morning.
Hello.
Hi. We're missing Rana. Oh, Rana, you're like this.
Very good. Now I can hear you.
Oh, there. Like you're like sideways. Go straight ways. Go straight. There you go. You're good now. Okay. Apparently Susie's just waiting to be let in. Do you see her?
I think she's Steffi.
What?
I think she's the one. Oh no.
She should be. Okay. As soon as she pops in, then you can disappear. Hi. Hi, Ashley.
Okay.
Just waiting for her. Oh, Susie, there you are. Oh, good. Oh, so good to see everybody. Oh my goodness. So
here, I miss you. I haven't seen you for so long.
I know.
I'm here.
Yeah, so we have a few new faces here, but first and foremost, yeah, I mean, so glad that, do love that background, Susie. Wow.
Thank you.
Where is that?
That is the Loewen in France.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
We're gonna make
Okay,
I'm
what are
living
you
through-
doing, Rana? You're like
You can change all of your backgrounds, ladies. You just go to into the video tab, and it will say choose virtual background, and you can change it to whatever your little heart's desire.
Oh, there you go. That's what we need right now. Anyways, how was Easter? I know, must have been like the most
quiet,
interesting Easter and Passover and whatever ever experienced, huh? I know that's
it was probably the first time that a lot of us haven't spent time with family, which was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, yeah.
And yeah, the kids still and we did FaceTime, but it's not the same for sure.
No, and we have some new faces, so I'd like to introduce Henny and Ansley, and they're from the WAG. They are the co-chairs this year on the development committee, and first of all, ladies, I guess this is very, very unexpected. 2020 was supposed to be a huge, and it will be a huge year for the WAG, but there's just so much in influx, I guess, just not knowing where. So we'll get into that. And then we have Charlene Rock, and she is from the Victoria Hospital Foundation. And Charlene, welcome too. We just had a little conversation, our last chat, just learning too about the frontline people, the workers in the hospitals, and about the foundations and what you're trying to do too, right? To keep the boat sailing or going somewhere and all of these turbulent waters. And yeah, so I guess I'll throw it out there right now. Let's go to arts and culture. And we have Hope too. And Hope, she represents Sarasvati Productions, and we just actually finished, and I guess it's quite timely. When I was thinking about it, we did a documentary on this incredible project that Sarasvati and 7 organizations in our community were working on. And yeah, we won't be able to see the finished product this year, will we? Or
no, we've had to postpone, unfortunately, but it will still happen.
Yes. So we'll talk more about that. But so anyways, let's talk about arts and culture first, and the big, huge impact that it's had on us, whether we are patrons or whether we volunteer or just love the arts and culture. It's basically cut off, and it has been, right? So with Henny and Ansley sitting on a volunteer board with such big plans now, I mean, kind of fill us in on what 2020 should have been, or it could still possibly be, right? I'm fingers crossed. Yeah. So Ainsley, tell us.
Okay. So as many of you probably know, the Winnipeg Art Gallery was set to open the Inuit Art Center in the late fall of 2020. And what you may not know is that the Winnipeg Art Gallery has the largest collection of Inuit art in the world. 14,000 pieces, I believe, of carvings, prints, fabric art, And it's a stunning collection. And for many, many years, of course, it was in a vault in the basement. I mean, pieces would be brought up from time to time, but it was such a massive collection that it couldn't really be showcased. And we've also just received a huge collection from the Nunavut government. I believe it's Nunavut. Sort of a long-term loan of their collection, because they recognizing that we are building a facility that they just simply don't have. So yeah, so very exciting time for the Winnipeg Art Gallery. And if you've had a chance, I don't know if you all live in Winnipeg, but if you've had a chance to drive past the current building, you'll see this amazing architectural structure that's being built right now and is continuing. Construction is continuing. And so that's the plan. And hopefully we'll be able to have an opening at the end of the fall. But how and what that looks like, of course, no one can really say. So Henny, did you want to add something?
You know, the only thing I want to say, Tracy, is I don't think that we have been cut off from the arts. You know, I go to Instagram, I see all these choirs and musical, you know, just extravaganzas that have been put together. The WAG at home, if you go to their website, they're providing coloring opportunities, art that one can do at home with whatever you have around. I think people are craving the arts, and it is, you know, with the use of our screens, we're able to get it. And the thing about the art gallery, my background is nursing, so I'm always looking at health benefits of whatever I'm doing. And there's a lot of research now that shows that looking at art, touching art, just, you know, hearing music as art can really affect our brains. So I think going forward, you know, the art gallery may be in a good place in that you don't need big crowds to be in a gallery space. You can go by yourself. You can go in small groups. You know, there are ways of being involved with the arts, any of them, with you know, even during a pandemic.
Yeah, right. And the other thing that Henny was talking about too is, you know, in the case of the Winnipeg Art Gallery or any kind of a gallery, that you already sort of physically distance yourself from other patrons, from other attendees of a gallery. It's not the same thing as, you know, if you're going to watch a ballet or symphony performance where you're sitting side by side by side by side in a concert hall or a performance arts hall. So in that sense, we are well positioned. But having said that, we're very, very cognizant. I mean, most people who support, say, the Winnipeg Art Gallery also support Manitoba Theatre Centre and the symphony and the ballet, because, you know, you're sort of, that's your passion, is arts in general for most people. So I think we're very, very recognizing the particular difficulties that some of our sister organizations will have and are having, like MTC, for example, having to cancel their last 2 performances in their season. And, you know, that's a huge economic blow for them.
Yeah.
So we're having conversations at the art gallery about how do we as arts organizations help each other right now and band together. And people are being so creative and innovative that I'm very convinced that there's going to be a lot of good things that come out of this and a lot of innovation. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that it's going to change. And for you, Hope, too, I mean, a huge cancellation of this major project. And you were saying that you were having a conference call with other, I guess, companies. And, you know, what was the outcome of that call? Or can you share a little bit of some of the ideas too? Like Ansley was saying what the art gallery is doing.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting is, there's been great loss and everyone's looking at how to manage that, and also other ways that we can keep live performance is such a unique thing, and how do you keep that going in a virtual world? But yeah, what has been the silver lining is people coming together and supporting each other in the arts community. So all of the kind of regional theaters who work under the Professional Association of Canadian Theaters kind of did a video chat, invited smaller groups and everybody together to just talk about, you know, how can we work together? What should we be preparing for? What are the issues? How do we deal with contract cancellations? How do we support the artists so that they're not out of income and work? And they've established this amazing network, which is called LEAN, the Leading Emergency Arts Network, where smaller organizations can get free consultation from more experienced arts professionals.
Oh, wow.
And ask them how to navigate this really unprecedented kind of experience. And so that's been incredible to be able to lean on each other and really talk about what can we still do, how do we move forward. And the reality, like with our show, is we know we have to postpone because it was supposed to happen in May, but we can't even say what the new dates are yet because nobody knows when is it going to be, you know, able to move forward with large crowds gathering in one space, and what that will look like is completely unpredictable.
Well, and I think that's the crazy part, is that we don't know the date. We don't know what the reaction is going to be like. And then I know quickly to you, Charlene, to talk about the people in the front lines. I mean, we're living in this, but my goodness, the whole general, I guess, environment at your hospital must be totally different.
Well, it is, but I think like everyone else, there's an incredible amount of innovation. There's always good things that come out of this. So I think that's what we see is, you know, you're seeing the very best of people. I think what it's highlighting is the frontline worker, which has always been the strength of our system. And I think a lot of other things, you know, for whatever reason, have gotten in between the front line and the value they bring and really how important they are. So I think that's highlighting just the value and what the frontline worker brings and the dedication. I mean, and so watching them sort of go through that, compare it, it's brought out the best in them as well. And, you know, what they got into healthcare for, some of them perhaps not quite, at that point in their career, this is what they got in to do, and they're being called to do it, and they're rising to the occasion. And our role as a foundation is to really support them in any way we can. And again, we've found value to what we do because there's always been, you know, the opportunity to support the frontline worker is always what we want to do. Quite often, what we've been asked to fund in the past is things that maybe we're sort of question as to the value of some of the things that we've been asked to fund and are more system oriented. So just being able to support the front line, when you get into not for profit work or charity work, your goal is to make the biggest difference and impact that you can. And we're finding that we have that opportunity to do that. And it's really developed a really solid, close relationship too between ourselves and the hospital and the workers, and just them valuing us, and in us in turn being able to show them how much we value them and how grateful we are for what they do. So it's just been a really good, you know, sort of opportunity for us to be able to be that conduit between, you know, for the community to share its gratitude or express its gratitude through us. So it's been a really good opportunity, and really we've been involved in a couple of really innovative projects that you know, we're not quite sure where they're going to go, but the opportunity to fund some innovation is we're hoping is going to happen as well, which is another good opportunity. And just seeing the community come together, I think one of the things that I am also grateful is how our officials are handling it. So the fact that we do have a coordinated effort through shared health, which is something that was been created in I'd say in the last couple of years. I've seen the benefit of that in spades. I do sit on another health authority board, so sort of seeing the coordination is really good. So just, you know, I think when you're talking about the arts and all those other things that we value, I think our values now are going to be demonstrated in everything. And so you kind of go back to, you know, what do we value as a society? We do value the arts. You'll see that. You know, we do value our frontline healthcare workers and family, and we're expressing those things in different ways. I think one of the if there's going to be a negative out of this, where I think we're going to be able to play a role, is the mental health impacts of this, because, you know, our generation hasn't really experienced, or in Canada, mass trauma, which this really is going to be, because it's the economic and the social impacts of this that I think we're going to see. And our hospital is one of the largest mental health facilities, so I think our role in that regard will sort of carry over significantly and for a long time after this, you know, after we get through this.
Well, thank you, Charlotte. And I mean, I think when you first started off, I mean, it was very positive, and it's like I've never ever had like a conversation where there's, you know, it's tough times for everybody. But now I just thought, let's go around. How has this made you better? Or have you noticed, you know, other people stepping up to the plate that maybe you wouldn't think of? I don't know. I think maybe some positiveness in all of this. I think. Let's start with Susan.
Oh, thanks, Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I think
yourself. You can give credit to yourself, okay? And that's safe to say, Charlotte and Kirsten, you know, you can say, yeah, I'm okay, yeah.
Oh, I think I have a better appreciation. Griffin has a great appreciation for having me as his teacher.
Right.
You there we go.
Has he asked any difficult questions?
Has
about
he?
This whole, yeah, about where you know, they pick up on things.
He kind of understands what's going on to a certain extent, and but I try to keep everything as normal as possible.
Well,
and he journals every day, because this is an event in history that will never happen, hopefully, again.
Yeah.
So every day he has to journal about something he's done, an activity he's done with his family, and how he feels.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, anything else?
No, just keeping going. But it is amazing. Like, people are reaching out to people that aren't there. Like, I have friends who can't get out, and I stop over and do funny things in front of their windows for them so that they feel better.
Oh.
And then we talk. So it's keeping in touch, especially with friends of mine that are still, there we go, they're still nursing, because a lot of them are burning out, and a lot of them have a lot of back-to-back shifts, and they're stressed because when, you know, it happens. So then I talk, and I can be their de-stressor. So.
How about you, Charlotte?
I have slowed down in the evenings, so my world is usually full of chaos and excitement, and my house is very quiet, which I'm now enjoying. There's just 2 of us, so my 22-year-old daughter and myself and 1 dog, and we're used to having 5 people and 3 dogs, so that part's been interesting to get used to. Shelby went out last night, and she said, "No offense, Mom, but I just need to see somebody who's not an adult, like old." So we just kind of drove around, and then when she got home, I said, "Okay, what's going on out there?" And she said, "Walmart parking lot is so packed." And it was funny because I'm so isolated in this house. I don't really, I talk to people all day long through Zoom like we're doing right now, but I'm actually not venturing out. So it was weird to get that, what's going on in the world, you know.
Now you're letting yourself have some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I dressed up today because that was so
I know, I like that.
Jeweler Davidson, and I put on a dress. So
good for you. Hey, I put on heels.
Oh, did you?
Wow.
Awesome.
I almost,
my bedroom slippers are right beside me. I'm not walking here.
It was, and so my partner and my business partner, who I Zoom every morning, they're like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" And it was so, I said,
"Where are you going? Are you going out?" Susie, how are you doing? So what have you found that's better?
I'm doing
Yeah, she is.
Hi.
some days are better than others, and I'm really grateful for my kids because they're definitely helping through this, because it gives me distraction from myself, to be quite honest, and I don't have time to think about me. I am focused on them and making sure that they're okay and that they're happy is not the right word, but that they are not scared. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And we also talk about how it's okay to be sad and how it's okay to be frustrated. And like, they haven't left the house in a month. I'm the only person really going to groceries and things like that.
Yeah. No, it's
and they have been amazing to be that we, you know, and trying to find those good things, but at the same time, I hate to have a pity party. And it is okay to break down. It's okay to not be okay with this, because none of this is normal and none of this is okay. So I can see both sides, you know. And I think that sort of what Charlotte was saying too is that we are going to see an unprecedented trauma, group trauma, that if it's going to look like after this is over. And that's what I'm embracing. And yeah, I take it hour to hour sometimes and day by day. That's the best I can do right now.
No, certainly that's how we all certainly feel. Nanette, how about you? You've got teenagers too, and I guess, are they going stir crazy?
Yeah. No, they're hiding it very well. They seem to be adjusting. Again, thank goodness for you know, the internet and communications and Zoom and other ways that my teens have been able to contact their friends and, you know, social. It's been really helpful. I think that they would be like at each other's throats. But as far as like, I'm actually an introvert. I love, you know, this is actually my element. I mean, this is something that I've prepared all my life for. So, just because, you know, before all of this, I was driving my kids everywhere. I was, you know, going to teach my classes. I love just nesting and cocooning and that sort of thing. That's me. That's what I love. So this has given me the opportunity to just finish a thought, because I'd start something and then I'd have to get up and drive my daughter to dance. And then, you know, it's just given me long stretches of time to be able to finish things and to plan things and think things through without constant interruption. So I personally, I'm really loving this. Not, of course, obviously the whole getting sick thing, but I'm really loving the being to just sit and think and do that sort of thing. My husband's the same way. He's a college instructor, and he's also enjoying this. He doesn't like he's never really liked the idea of getting on the bus to get to work and then teach there. He loves that he can teach from home. So that's a good thing. It's not ideal, obviously, but yeah, my teens are there have been times that they're just, I need to get out, I need to go and do something, and I have to talk them down and say, no, we're not going anywhere. We're just staying here. And they're adjusting. That, you know, it's been a few weeks, so, you know, it's
so as long as you haven't done all your spring cleaning and washed the windows and all of this.
Oh, heck no.
No. Okay, that's one thing. You get all like, no, I'm not doing that. No, I don't want to.
No, you know what? I keep telling myself, well, we don't know how long this is gonna last, so I can take my time.
I like that. I like that. Let's do that. How about you, Kirsten? How are things?
Oh, you know,
the best. What's better?
I'm sorry. My family's doing really well. In my home, we have one daughter that still lives at home, and my husband. And my other daughter moved out this fall, but she moved 6 houses down into a little apartment, so actually perfect. But you know, as you know, Charlotte and I both work in mental health, and because of some of the challenges my family has faced with that years in the past, I'm finding I'm just so grateful. You know, we're all healthy, we're all together, get through this. And I'm often thinking of those families with teenagers who are going into a time like this, or young adults that are struggling with mental health and have for years, and the battle fatigue, even with going into a situation like this. So I'm thinking about those families a lot, because that I put myself back there, and that would have been a really difficult time. So Charlotte and I, of course, do our Wednesday night support group for families. But I have to be honest, like, we're doing really well, and we're really grateful, and we're good.
Oh, well, that's great. And Rana, how are you doing? Have you gone grocery shopping again?
No. I don't know. I'm up and down. I'm kind of, you know, today is my annoyed day. I'm just irritated. I want to go to work. I want to do things. But yeah, I'm up and down. I mean, I don't know. It's you know, I think, like, for us, like, I don't think that the pressure for work really stops, right? So I feel like you still have all the pressure to get everything done and still function and still meet whatever demands there are, but at the same time, you don't really have the out, right? So you're sitting in your pajamas on your floor trying to, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I have good days, I have bad days. I think, you know, for us, you know, we just recently lost my dad, so there's a lot of that component of it too, that there's it's just almost, it's too much time. Yeah. It's you know, you're not busy, so you just have too much time to think and to miss him and to do all that stuff. So yeah, I have good days, I have bad days. I mean, today's definitely, I'm off today. I don't think anyone is gonna question that. I'm just completely not feeling it today, but I think there's a lot of positive. I think, you know, I had Ace Burpee on this morning, just, you know, and I haven't listened to the radio in so long, and I just kind of checked in just to, you know, but I think that there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hopeful messages, and you see a lot of leaders really trying to encourage people, and it works. Yeah. You know, some of those really positive messages do resonate, and I think that I appreciate a lot of people who are using their platforms to not just discuss things, but really be like kind of champions and say, yo, like, we're going to get through this, and this is going to be fine. You know, I was
going to ask you, Rana, too, like, you're very close with the Indigenous community. What has it been like, you know, for some of the friends and some of the business associates that you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still working, right? Like, I'm still, like, my personal relationships are tough. Like, we're used to being, you know, like, it's just everyone's kind of in their communities locked down, right? So, but I think it's really challenging. I think that the attention that it requires is not there. I think that, I don't know, like, it's, you know, I'm not gonna get into the whole thing, but I mean, I think that there's a lot of components missing to really address what specifically isolated and remote communities are dealing with. You know, and yeah, like, we're Zooming and we're kind of trying to sift through it. I think that mostly, you know, and there's been a lot of loss, you know, there's one community that just lost one of their counselors, you know, and that, again, a really good friend of ours who's passed away. Like, there's just, it's brutal. I mean, it's not great. But again, I think we're kind of all in it, and we're going to go through our kind of good phases and bad phases and, you know, whatever. I'm really grateful for my family. I mean, I get to be around my family, and I'm used to being around my family, so that's great. But I think it's just other component that's really you know, irritating. That it's just like the work part of it, right? That it would be nice if both like if it was just even, you know what I mean? Like if it was kind of even, but it's not. So, but one thing I just want to kind of say, I think, you know, I've been on a lot of group chats, and, you know, I'm super grateful. I have like great friends, like great groups of girlfriends that we're always kind of in communication and talking. And I think that the biggest challenge after this is going to be, you know, like almost like PTSD, you know, like people are just managing right now, and they're gripping it, and they're just pushing through. But I think once people kind of relax, there's going to be a lot of challenges just internally and just mentally. But I think that we've never had this opportunity before.
No. Well, and I mean, even to do this and to listen to everybody, and I mean, Susie touched on it. She's bracing or gripping for the big trauma, you know, when this is all over, or maybe it comes sooner. So I want to kind of.
I think it's starting. I do think it's starting. You know, I'm starting to see a lot of different conversations just within like my confidential kind of group of friends. I'm starting to see a lot more. Like people are getting close to being very. It's difficult. People are struggling.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And it's finances as well, right? Like, I mean, let's just call this what this is. People's businesses are dead. People are not getting the support. I mean, yes, there's a lot of support available, but not everyone's eligible for those supports. Sometimes it's just not enough. You know, and a month or 2 months into that, it starts to snowball very quickly. And I think that we're just on the cusp of that. So, you know, I think that it's a great time for self-reflection. I think it's a great time to maybe question, you know, why, you know, like how do we, I think there's to be frank, I think there's a lot of there's a big spiritual component to this, right? Like we're not used to being with ourselves. Yeah. Like perhaps that's not a great thing. Perhaps this is an opportunity to learn about who we are and where our real connections are and how we actually function in this world. But that's my.
So let's, I threw the question out there about isolation, and we're all now in it, very well in it. I mean, how has this affected your relationships, whether it's in business and in family, isolation? You know what, I'm gonna yell, hello, Kevin. I have a 61-year-old child who does not know that his office is in the kitchen. Oh, and I'm upstairs, and we have an open loft. So there you go. There's my,
That's okay. That's okay. That's part of the human. That's part of the
I'm sorry, baby.
family. It's okay. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Is there self-isolation?
Oh, it's okay.
But anyways, yeah.
That said, how are you married people?
Pardon?
People do.
I'm Susie. You're cutting out.
I haven't seen you party.
What?
I didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
How about now? See,
yes.
My Wi-Fi's.
Yeah, cutting out.
Yeah.
Touch and go. Yeah, I was talking about how she hasn't seen any married people talk about how blissful their relationship.
Yeah. Okay, so you're on, Susie. Hopefully your Wi-Fi is good so we can hear you.
Lately, and it made me laugh.
Well, I mean, yeah. Too bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. But you just cut out.
I think she was asking how married people are doing.
Okay, I'll listen.
I don't know. How are they doing?
Oh, I decided I want to be home more.
Oh, yes.
Way more. I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. But we've been married almost 50 years, so if it's not good by now, it's never going to be good. So.
How about you, Henny?
You know, not the marriage thing, but the noticeable thing is people are communicating differently than they have in the past. I've had two phone calls in the last, I guess, 5 days of women friends who, you know, typically it's a quick text message. How are you doing? Just checking in to see you know, how your family is. So we've had phone calls, which is, you know, like the old fashioned way of communicating. And it's quite lovely. You really do get caught up and you really are communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, so far for me, I mean, we've been married, you know, over 40 years, and it's, you know, we know our spaces, what our routines are, and it's working just fine. You know, I keep on saying if I had to quarantine with anybody, I'm glad it's my husband. And nice to have a dog around the house too. That's been a great, you know, he needs to get out and go for a walk, and we can do it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so in Ansley, how are you doing?
Good. I love all the comments. I mean, each person has said something that it just resonates so much with me. And so, I mean, like the negatives and positives, for me, I think it's been the stripping down of the sort of the things that I used to think were important, but now I realize really aren't. And what I hope is that I can hold on to that, you know, because it's easy to do that when everyone else is sort of in the same boat. And then when things change and things open up more and people have more opportunities to, you know, do different things, I really hope that I can remember this time of, you know, sort of clarity and crystallizing for me what's important, and hang on to that and not let myself slide back into the sort of stuff that is kind of time wasting, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just me personally. I'm just coming to that realization. And you know, I think that human beings being what they are, you know, once this is over and we've had many, many months of this being over, you know, I'm sure life will resume a lot of its distractions and all of those things. And I've probably become trapped by them again. But yeah, it has offered moments of reflection. I've had ups and downs. But I am so grateful to be married to my husband, Grant, you know, even more now than ever, because we just have an easy relationship, and we've managed to find a way to make this work. And so, and I think about women and other people who are in relationships that are really difficult and where they might not be safe, but they have to be with the person who it makes them not safe. And I think about children who are in that situation, and I just feel, I mean, it's heartbreaking. But I feel gratitude because I'm not in that space.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Lots of different, like I could, you know, I'm just finding this so interesting, everyone's perspectives. So. Yeah.
And for you, Hope, I mean, yeah, you know, it's the whole, you know, the passion and the dedication that you have shown throughout all the time for theater and for supporting women and everything like that. I mean, now everybody's in isolation.
Yeah, it's interesting how it does change priorities, absolutely. And I feel very grateful personally because I have supports in place, and I know not everyone has that. Not everyone can isolate in the same way. But it has certainly changed professional relationships. Like I said, there's more support coming from our community, and a sense of, yeah, we're all in this together and really bonding and helping one another, which is a beautiful thing. But for our staff and our board and the folks we work with, there's also been a huge disconnect where we just you know, there's certain conversations that are so hard to have when you can't be in a room together. And so I think some of our staff are really struggling about how do you maintain a routine? How do you keep, you know, doing the work when you can't actually be in a space and collaborate in the same way? So there's definitely some positives and lots I'm grateful, but also some real challenges that I think, yeah, is starting to affect people the longer this goes on. You're like, for 2 weeks, we can do this remotely. But as you get into, you know, a full month and a second month, how do you continue that?
No, and it's hard. Well, Nanette, I mean, you're hospital of fitness gals. I mean, yeah, although I guess you're still continuing with your classes on Zoom?
Yeah, we're still doing classes. It's fun. As long as the tech holds up,
Yes,
we're still good.
Yeah.
We're still good.
No, that's great.
And thank goodness for large bandwidth on Wi-Fi. But it's, you know, that's the sort of thing that, you know, you just kind of, you just try to keep going, you're right. And I've added a couple more classes because it's something to distract people, and it's something fun. But the thing is, you know, there's my husband and my 2 kids, and we're all like, our home is relatively open. So we have to watch, like my daughter has her dance classes in the living room. My husband's teaching in the dining room, and he has this, because he's made for teaching, because he has the voice. He can project. He's loud. And he never stops teaching. He comes off of that and he's teaching us things. Like, I used to be an engineer. So when he talks about stuff, I can understand, and I don't want to anymore. But it's one of those things where we're all just trying to, you know, it's a good thing we all just love each other, because we're always in each other's hair. We're trying to get stuff done, and we're, you know, there's Miranda's trying to dance, and Cam's trying to teach, and Luke's up here, and you know, and he's just trying to keep in his room. So it's a fun dynamic. It's been relatively smooth. You know, we all love being with each other. We laugh a lot in this house. So we are very fortunate in that during the summers, Cam is not teaching. So we do have our family time where we're all together 24/7 during the summer. So this isn't anything unusual. In fact, this is something that we're kind of enjoying, because we do miss being together. When summer's over, it's like, oh, everyone has to go back to school, everybody has to go back to work. When we've had like 2 months of family time, which we absolutely love. So this has been it's been good. It hasn't been that difficult, but yeah, when you're actually trying to get work done, it gets a little spaghetti like. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
My goodness. So Charlotte, too, I guess. How has isolation been for you? I mean, you're still working like everybody else, but it's that human thing, right? Connection.
It was interesting listening to all of you talk about your partners, and part of my work is Robin, my business partner, and I travel a lot. She's usually on the road 3 weeks of the month, and I'm gone a month. But I also go back and forth from my cottage and my house, and my partner he lives in Kenora at our cottage, and so he's there, I'm here. And in my old world, you never thought about jumping in the car, going to the lake, and now, you know, my friends in Kenora said, you have to pick a province, like, where are you going to be? And so that was a really interesting concept of, you know, staying put in, you know, where I'm used to living in those both worlds that, you know, I love both cities. And the mental health thing, like Robin's in my business has always been via Zoom anyway. But it's getting creative in our clients, where in our peer support training, normally people are one-on-one with people in person, and now having to do this all via Zoom or via text or on the cell phone. And a lot of battle fatigue with the peer workers out there, just because it's so much more draining to be online working, or you know, listening on the phone for cues. And so we spend a lot of time talking about just, you know, taking time for yourself. Like, you can't do that super person 8-hour or 12-hour day. It's very condensed and smaller. I don't know, Chris, can you add to it? Because you and I spend a lot of time on Zoom together.
Yeah, you know, well, I completely agree with what Charlotte's saying. It's a different world, and to put in those 8 hours of a work day via Zoom and telephone when you're supporting people, it's tough. It's tough. So yeah.
So what can we do as just citizens? I mean, I'm loving this, and I want to thank everybody for joining this conversation. And you know, I want all of you to come back, because I noticed now, like, we started last week, and now it's, you know, the second week. I can't imagine what it's going to be like 4 weeks from now or 5 weeks from now. So it's going to get harder, I think. Susie, you can attest to that too. I mean, in the social media world. So,
Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just pop in and say what I was going to say before.
Yeah.
So one of my girlfriends posted a meme that said, are you married people okay? Because I haven't seen you post He's My Everything lately. And it made me happy. So yeah, not everybody is doing okay, everyone. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Oh no.
Anyway.
I love that, and I'm glad your audio kicked in right then because
yes,
we needed a good laugh. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you know it's all people like you that really and just to share and be open with each other. And I know that some of you are strangers and never met each other. But there seems to be, like, you know, was said quite often, we're in this together, but I think there is kind of a commonality. And I am saying this right now, I think that all of you and your families will be very good when this is all over, because it will be over. It will be over, and there will be a light. And I mean, I think that we will all weather it very well, just because of the foundations that you all have. You know, the priorities, which I think too, like Nanette, you know, yes, we have a long time to think about what our priorities are, and it certainly isn't spring cleaning and or doing my taxes. But yeah, we should talk about finance and stuff like that too. Like Rana's shaking her head. Yeah,
like,
yeah. So,
it's no joke. It's super. You know, I think on a normal day.
I'll try to find a financial advisor to come on board. And
honestly.
So I'm going to leave you with the next question for next time on Thursday. Social media. You love it and you hate it. How has social media helped you or not helped you, both personally and business? And
it's a good question.
You better have your Wi-Fi good, because you're going to be expert on this. And you know what? And yeah, Susie too, to help us navigate through all of it. And again, Kirsten and Charlotte, just to sort of that mental health thing. I mean, because there's a lot out there, and it's only going to grow bigger and bigger. But I would like Charlene, if you can, Charlene, write in your website for the foundation.
I will, thank you.
Okay, and we'll have that on Facebook. Do you have a COVID-19 fund?
We do, and I can maybe just send out maybe I'll attach the last newsletter that we sent out. Because I'll explain what we're doing, and yes, we do have,
well, just explain, because.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you can explain right now, because we're still on.
Oh, okay. Well, we created what we're calling a critical response fund, and it really is to meet whatever needs the hospital has identified as they emerge, because it's all a lot of things are fluid, things come up, and so we wanted to make sure that we could respond at a second's notice. We did last week. They created, talking about mental health. I think we oftentimes don't realize the stress and the impact on the frontline staff. So we created, we were asked to sort of help or support a Zen Den that started this week. So it's a program that they're running for staff to come and mentally rewind, recharge, just to do whatever they can to de-stress, because they are stressed out. I mean, they haven't even they've been preparing for something catastrophic, which we hope doesn't happen, but just in the preparation and the stress that they have every day. So we're supporting that right now. So that's what any donations to that fund are going to right now, is to support the mental health, I would say, and wellness of our frontline staff.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Charlene. So send in that information.
I will.
And Hope, is that website Lean?
Well, Lean is it's a network for the theater organizations. So, but yeah, there's information online about it.
Yeah, if you can send the information, you can just type it on the side there, like a website or anything like that, and maybe your website too as well. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So Stay safe.
You too. Thanks, Tracy.
Plus
Thanks,
one.
everyone.
Thank you,
Nice to meet
Tracy.
everybody.
Take care.
Take
Thank you
care.
very much.
Great
Have a
day.
great day. Bye-bye.
Say bye.
Love
Stay
you all.
safe.